this is Trisha and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this macrame pot hanger. Alright, so these are the supplies that we're going to need for our macrame hanging planter. I'm going to be using this natural cord. You can choose any color you wish. I would have preferred to have had a 3mm cord, but this is all I could find. It's a 4.5mm thick, so this is what I'm going to work with. We're also going to be needing a ring. This is a 48mm or 1.89 inches in diameter. You can use a wood one, plastic, or even a metal ring. We're going to be needing some scissors. This is the only tool that we're going to be using to create our hanger. And of course, I have a pot that will go into my hanger. I've chosen this nice small pot. You can choose something bigger if you like. I am going to start off by cutting 8 pieces of cording, and I am going to cut them at 4.5 yards each, or about 4 meters long. And now I'm going to cut 2 24-inch pieces. Okay, so I'm taking my 8 strands of cord and I'm going to loop them through the ring and bring it up so that it's at halfway point. So just feed it through. Okay, so now that I have my 8 cords looped through halfway, I have now 16 cords that I'm going to play with. Now, you could, if you prefer, just to have 6 cords rather than 8. Now, 8 cords will make 4 arms to come around your pot. If you use 6, you can have 3 arms to come around your pot. So that is just your choice of what you want to do. Okay, so now that I've got my cords here, as I said, I'm going to go ahead and lock them in place by taking the 24-inch piece, placing the end on here, and just make a loop about so long. It's about 2.5 inches, and then take the other end and wrap it around and wrap it nice and snug. Okay, I've got it wrapped around about 4 times here. I'm going to go ahead and now take this end and bring it through here, and then I can pull the one on the top and pull it nice and tight. Pull both of them, but then pull the top one so that it pulls this bottom one that you looped it through underneath the rest, and then just pull it nice and taut. Now, if you like, you can use a hot glue gun and put some hot glue in there to keep it all in place, or maybe some other glue that you prefer. In the meantime, we can go ahead and trim these, and I'm going to leave a little bit of the ends there sticking out, because I'm going to go ahead and come back and use my hot glue gun, add a little bit of glue in there, and then tuck those little strands underneath. Okay, in the meantime, just so we don't have to look at it, I'm going to turn it over. And there we go. Okay, so now we're going to start working on the arms of our planter hanger. Now, I just want to say real quick that I learned how to do macrame. I think I was about 15 years old. My mom took a class on doing these macrame hangers, and we used to do them. She used to sell them, and she would pay me for working, because eventually I was the one who was just doing the work, but she would buy the supplies, of course. So she actually reimbursed me for my time. So this was a lot of fun, and I remember doing this, and it has been years. So to refresh my memory, I did go ahead and look up a video, because I wanted to make sure that I was using the right lengths for the size pot that I was going to use. Now remember, I cut 4.5 yard pieces of cord, which is about 4 meters. I do remember working with like 6 or 8 yards, but that was like for a bigger pot, so you're going to have to cut them longer according to the size of your pot. So start small and then work your way up the size of your pots by making longer pieces of macrame. And just remember that whatever you have, if you have any slack, it's always best to cut it a little bit longer than what you think you're going to need. And it's better to just cut off the slack at the end and then maybe cut it too short for the pot that you're going to do. Okay, so as I was saying, I did watch a video to refresh my mind on doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and link the video down in the description box below so that they can have credit for having refreshed my memory. Okay, so let's start off by making some square knots. We're going to take 4 cords that are closest to each other, and we're going to take the outer 2. We're going to make a loop with the left side in front of the 2 middle ones, and a loop on the right side to go behind the loop. So then this right one, you bring it over the front of the left, and then this left one, you bring it through and behind this right one. And then you're just going to pull it upward. Okay, so now this next time, to finish our double knot, we're going to go with the right side in front and the left behind. So then we bring the left in front through the right, and the right behind through the left behind, and pull that up. And that is a double knot right there. Now I'm going to do 9 double knots going downward. Okay, so I have completed 9 double knots down my first arm. So before I continue, I want to go ahead and pick another 4 and repeat the process, and then another 4 and do that process, and then do it to the ones back here, so that we'll have 4 arms with 9 double knots. Okay, so I have completed my 4 arms with the 9 double knots going down each one. So there we go. That is what it looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to continue, and I'm going to do a twisting double knot now. Now, to create that, instead of alternating like left and the right behind, we're going to go ahead and start with one of these. Instead of alternating after you've done the left in front and then doing the right in front, we're going to continue with the left in front as well. And we're going to do that 18 times. And that'll give us 9 double knots. Three, 4. That's already 2 double knots. Now, if you'll notice, it's starting to do a little twisting motion right here. See that? So that's what we want. So I'm going to do 9, like I said, double knots. So that's 18, and I've already done 4, so I'm going to do another 14. And then I'm going to repeat the process on this arm, and so forth. Okay, so here you can see where I've done another 9 double knots, or rather just 18 left, bringing the left over and the right behind. So there we go. I created this nice little twist action. So now I've just got to repeat it to the other 3, and then we're going to go ahead and continue to the next step, where we're going to size it up for our pot. All right, everyone, I have completed my twisted motion here, and I've done it for all 4 of these. So the next thing I want to do is see how big I have to do this so that my pot can sit right in here. So let's see that. Okay, so I want this edge to rest right about right here. So then I'm going to take the outer 2 strands of one arm and the outer 2 strands of the other arm, and I want it to knot right about right here. Okay, so just guesstimate, or just estimate, not guesstimate, but just estimate how far, like probably like in the center of the pot. Okay, so let me take the pot away so I don't drop it. So that was about right here. So let me see how many inches that is, just to give you an idea. That's about 4 inches. So here where I'm taking these 2 strands, the ones on the very edge are now going to be the center, go down about 4 inches, and then I'm going to do a double knot. So I put the left in front, the right from behind, and then the right is going from behind. It comes up through the front and the left one that came in the front comes up from behind on the right. Just like we did when we first started way at the top. So now that I did a left, now I'm going to do a right. The right goes in the front, the left goes in the back, comes up through the front of the right strand goes through the left and comes up behind it. And there we did a double knot. So I want to repeat that by taking now these 2 strands from this arm, grab the next one, you see kind of where it twists, and then take the 2 ones on the outer edge here, the 2 on the very outer edge right here, and then I'm going to do my knots with the ones on the outer. And again, I'm going to measure about 4 inches. So I'm just going to pull it up next to it. I see that I need to go down a little bit. There we go. Finish it off. So this time the right in the front and the left in the back. The left comes up the front of the right goes behind, comes out the back of the left. And there we go. So now I'm going to repeat this. Take the ends, these ends now, and just let it coil, and there we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing. The ones on the outer edge of the center, the ones on the outside will make the knot, and then I will bring this one, these 2 strings, and these 2 strings to do the same, okay? Alright, so I've connected my arms, see that? And there we go, like that. I've connected that. Now keep something in mind when you're doing all of this, because the ones in the middle, as you're going down like this, the ones in the middle always stay right in the middle, and it's the 2 outer ones that you're working all these twisting and so forth. So the outer ones are going to get shorter as you work your way down. So when you look down on your project on the ends, you're going to have some really short ones while you still have some really long ones, and that's okay, because like I said, the 2 outer ones are getting shortened as you're doing your project. Okay, so I'm going to put my pot in there again and just make sure that, well, I could go from the bottom actually for now. Okay, just going to make sure this is going to go like about right here and so forth. You probably should do this like over a pillow or something, or a cushion down at the bottom, so that if your pot falls out of your hands, it falls on the pillow. This is where these are going to rest. Now they're not exactly, but that's okay. And if you don't like that, well then fix it, okay? So I'm just going to pull on this one, and just turn them around so I can look at it. Okay, so somewhere down here in the bottom here, where they all meet. And I'm trying to get my strings also to kind of be as nicely, you know, straight down here as I possibly can. Yeah, that'll work. That'll be fine. Okay, let me see. Okay, so I'm going to measure this and see how much that is. And I think it's about another 4 inches. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the pot because I don't want to accidentally drop it and have it break. Okay, so down here, after these knots, then we move the camera down. Okay, so down here after these knots, we're going to go about 4 inches. And here's where you can make some adjustments and fix your little knots so they're about the same. This will look like it's a little too low, so I'm just going to adjust that one. You can turn this around, unhook it and turn it around, and look at it from the other side. Okay, so I'm just pulling on the center ones to make sure that that's all nice and we don't have any bits like sticking and like looping out like that, like it's pulled out. So just fix it. Okay, so I'm going to measure down about 4 inches, which is right about here. And I'm going to do the same thing I did at the very top. Put my string on there, and then just start, oh sorry, make a loop like that, and then just start twisting this around. And I believe it went around about 4 times. There we go, like that. Let me go one more. Put it through the loop, the end. This one up here, start pulling on it. Pull on both of them, tighten it up, and then pull this one. I keep making sure that this is all nice and tight. Okay, now I can pull this one, so I can pull this little knot underneath all of this. And just be careful that you don't pull it too much and then you pull it all the way out this way. If you do, just start over. And like I said, with the very top one, you can trim off. You're going to trim this off, and you can use a little bit of hot glue in there, which I am going to do, by the way, or you know, whatever glue that you like to use, with super glue or E6000, whatever glue you like to use. Put some little dots in there so all these little ragged edges get tucked in. Just poke them in with a little stick or, you know, a pencil or something. Okay, let me get this back in there. There we go. All right. So like I said, this is all going to get trimmed off. Now, if this string was long enough, and it was long enough to where you just want to trim the whole thing, then just leave it. Okay, otherwise, we're going to trim all this. We're just going to cut and cut. And then we're going to work our way down. We are done, and then we can just trim these wherever we decide that we want to trim them. So now that is done, we can see that we have a lot of rope hanging downward. Now that's because I made my hanging, my pot hat hanger, kind of short. I didn't make it too long. The video that I referenced was doing these a lot longer up here than what I'm doing. I made it shorter, so, but I needed it because I couldn't remember about how much to cut. But all I remember was the knots, but I couldn't remember how much of these length to cut of these strings. So knowing that I cut mine, or that I did mine kind of short, then I know next time that maybe I just need 3.5 yards. Or because I did 4.5 yards, I probably want to make, see how I did these up here? Maybe I want to do more coming down here. The reason that I ended it like this is because these shorter strings were starting to look like maybe I wasn't going to have enough strings, so that's why I went ahead and I stopped. But you can go ahead and do it a little bit longer than mine for a small pot. Okay, so now that we're down here, I can go ahead and I can trim all of these strings. So here we go. That. And I have some strings left over, which I'm going to save. And like I said, I'm going to hot glue all this and tuck it in underneath. So these here, this is completely your choice. But I'm going to unravel them a little bit like that. Just unravel the ends of my cords. And you can take your time if you want to do it all the way up or not. It's up to you. You could use a little comb, brush them out, and make them, you know, break them up a little bit more, make them really frayed if you want, or just leave them like that. Okay, I'm going to unravel them a little bit, and that will be it. All right, everyone, so I've shown you how to put together this macrame pot hanger, and let's discuss how much we need. So I said you're going to cut 8 strands at 4.5 yards each. So altogether that makes it about 36 yards, I believe. And then of course I cut another 4 feet of cord to create 2 pieces that were 24 inches long. So if you have anywhere from 36 to maybe 40 yards of cording, then you can create something like this, probably a little bit longer than mine, because like I said, I ended up making it a little bit shorter, but I could have got a little bit longer. Now this will be perfect for a pot about this size. This pot is 5 inches in diameter, and it is about another 5 inches tall. So that gives you an idea of what size pot will fit in here. But like I said, when I used to do this with my mom, I recall, you know, cutting pieces that were 6 or 8 yards long, but then again, we were using big pots to do that. So I would start off small so you get an idea of what to use. Now in hindsight, for this size, I could have probably cut 3.5 yard strands. Or if you want to do it less, you can also do 6 strands instead of 8. And instead of having 4 arms, you could just have, you know, 3 arms to hold your pot, and that'll be okay. All right, so what is 36 yards in feet? Because it occurred to me that the roll that I grabbed was measured in feet, and I think it said it was 135 feet on there. So if you have about 110 feet, 120 feet, you'll have enough to make something like this, or a little bit longer, like I said. But if you wanted to make it much bigger, then you need a lot more. So I would probably anywhere from 150 feet, maybe more. Make sure that your macrame cord has at least that if you want to make something a little bit bigger. Also, if you can't find macrame cord, use twine, or, you know, like hemp string, or even yarn if you want to go ahead and use that. I think it'll look really pretty, especially if you do it like in different colors. That would be like really nice. So you could just choose, in case you don't find macrame cord like in all the colors that you possibly could imagine. Maybe some yarn, you can find that in the color, or maybe you already have some at home and you could just use that instead of hunting for macrame cord, which right now at this time, this particular year, we don't want to have to be going into the stores. Of course, you can also find this on Amazon. I bought mine from Hobby Lobby, by the way. Okay, so let's put our pot in there so we can see how it looks nice and finished, which you saw at the beginning of the video. Now, of course, this would be hanging off of something level. It would be hanging off on the wall, but as you can see, it looks really pretty on the wall. You just level it off right here. Put your little plant in there, maybe something that hangs. You could use a faux plant or use a real plant. This one, I think I'm going to put a faux plant because I'm just going to kind of hang it maybe in the window of my kitchen. And I've already got a pothos there, so I don't want anything to grow anymore because my pothos is going crazy. So I might put a faux little flowers, or a little greenery, or maybe even what is the word I want to say? Succulent. All right, everyone, this has been my tutorial for this macrame pot hanger, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I think it looks really cute. It's small, and I really, really like the size that it came out. All right, everyone, I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up. And please leave a nice comment down below and let me know what you think of the project. What would you do if you were creating this? And if you have any tips for us and everyone else, you know, anyone that's reading the comments, go ahead and leave it there. Please follow my Facebook page, Trisha's Creations, and you can post your ideas on there if you want to post pictures, or just, you know, whatever ideas you might have for a recipe or a craft, or show us what you have done. You can share that on there. All right, everyone, thank you so much for subscribing, and those of you who haven't subscribed, please hit that red subscription button, and after you do, though, you'll see the little bell. Go ahead and click on that. That is a notification button that will notify you of when I put up videos, which is twice a week, and sometimes I do a little vlog. So there you go, everyone. Share on your social medias. Be kind, respect each other, spread the love, and as always, enjoy.